Wicked for Good is now in theaters. And, I did my review of it. I like the film overall. I thought the first half was really weak, like very stiff, very wooden, had no voice, had no heart really. And then, no pun intended. And then the second half of Wicked for Good, I thought it really picked up, found its heart, and left me by the end of it having enjoyed it. But I didn't like it anywhere near as much as I liked the first Wicked. And look, if you look at the reviews, the critics don't like it nearly as much as the first one either. I mean, it's still got a significantly positive 68%. And as you can see, the audience score is stellar at 94. But generally speaking, the movie's just not quite as good as the first. That's fine. I still liked it though. Like I said, the second half of Wicked for Good was solid enough and good enough that it left me overall having enjoyed the film. So I like both Wicked films. I love the first one. I like the second one. But there's always been something that's kind of bothered me. And I remember I even felt this with the first Wicked film. And I loved it. I loved the first Wicked film. But I didn't have it in my top 2 or 3 best movies of the year, let alone thinking that it should have won Best Picture at the Oscars, which I didn't think it should. I had no problem with it being nominated. And I started wondering, somebody asked me once, like, why wouldn't you rank it higher? I mean, you loved the acting, you loved the story, you loved the take on Oz, you loved the new mythology, you loved the music. Why didn't you rank it higher? And I remember saying last year to somebody, like, I'm not really sure, it just doesn't. I just enjoyed these other ones more. Now, after watching Wicked for Good, I think I'm putting my finger now on the one thing that is really wrong with the Wicked films. Now, this is a subjective thing. It may not hold true for you, but I know this is what it is for me. Here's what's holding me back from thinking like the first Wicked film was a serious contender for Best Picture, or that Wicked 2 wasn't even better than I already liked it. And I think it's this. Wicked has no stakes. There's no stakes. At least it never lets us feel the stakes. Look, I don't mean to draw a comparison between Wicked and the MCU. They're totally different things. But just as an example, when you watch something like Infinity War, it's one thing to say, oh, there's this big purple grimace going around who wants to wipe out half-life in the universe. Okay, that's fine. We know that. But for that to really carry emotional weight, you have to make your movie in such a way that the audience feels the threat. They feel what's at stake. And I would submit that Avengers Infinity War did a great job constantly of making us feel that threat, of the immediacy of the danger, of the urgency of the quest. We've got to stop Thanos. Like, this is, everything depends on this. And we as the audience, as that movie is going along, we feel what's at stake. We feel the threat level. We understand why the Avengers are doing what they're doing. I would submit to you, having now watched Wicked and Wicked for Good, a series that I like, love the first one, like the second one, but I would submit to you the one big flaw for the Wicked films, and again, it took me like a year to put my finger on this, but is that there are simply no stakes. We get it through the movie that Elphaba is really mad at the wizard. Why though? Well, 'cause he lied. Okay, but, and follow me here, from the amount that we are exposed to the people of Oz, everybody in Oz is very safe. Everybody in Oz is happy. Everybody in Oz is singing songs. I don't see a homeless problem on the streets of Oz. I don't see, even Munchkinland. Everybody seems good and happy. They have their own little dramas going on, sure, but everybody is good and happy. And so throughout the films, and especially as we get into Wicked for Good, Why is Elphaba again so angry at the wizard? Why is it important to me as the audience member that Elphaba stops the wizard or exposes the wizard? Now, you can say, and I understand in theoretical terms, well, yeah, John, that's fine. That's all good for the people of Oz and the Munchkins, but the animals. Oh, he's being very mean to the animals. And much like if you were just talking about Avengers Infinity War and saying, okay, there's a big purple guy who wants to destroy half life in the universe. Okay, that's fine, but you got to make the audience feel that. You got to feel the threat. You have to feel what's at stake. And I don't think personally that Wicked ever did a good job of that. The most they did was, we saw Goat Professor get his glasses broken. There's a little musical number, and I won't give too much away here, but there's a musical number where some animals in Oz are escaping through a tunnel. Like, there's a few moments that they try on a very thin level to make us feel what's at stake, but I don't think they do a very good job of it. And so the whole premise of the story about the angst that Elphaba feels towards the wizard, we just know it as an academic fact, but we never feel it. Let me give you another example. It's one I use a lot, but I think it's applicable here. When you look at John Wick, the filmmakers understood we're about to have this guy, John Wick, the hero of the movie, do unspeakable, horrible, evil violence on people. He's about to murder a lot of people. How does the audience get on board emotionally with the righteousness of John Wick to the point that nuns, religious nuns, in their outfits in the movie theaters will stand up and say, them fuckers gotta die. John Wick, get 'em. I mean, how do they do that? Well, you know how they do it? They don't just kill John Wick's puppy. The movie spent time. It took its time in the beginning of the film to let us get attached to the puppy ourselves. Like, we as the audience get attached to this adorable puppy. They didn't just do a quick 15-second thing. They actually spent a little bit of time because they knew it was important for us to be on board with John Wick as he goes on this unspeakable quest of violence. For us to completely be on board with him, they understood they got to get us as the audience to feel it as well. You can't just tell us, they killed a guy's puppy. Okay, that sounds terrible, but that's not going to get me emotionally on board. So what they did is they spent time getting us attached to the puppy, but they didn't just get us attached to the puppy. They got us as the audience emotionally invested in the bond that the puppy and John Wick formed. A puppy that John Wick's beloved dead wife left for him so he could have companionship. So he could have something to give his love to. I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about the beauty of it, right? And so what John Wick did was they took time to get us attached to the dog itself, but also got us emotionally invested in the bond that Wick had with the dog. And when that puppy and when that bond were stripped away from John Wick, we as the audience felt it. We felt it. And from then on out, not just in John Wick 1, but John Wick 2, John Wick 3, John Wick 4, and 6, 7, and 8 that are coming, we are completely on board with the anger and the quest and the mission and the motivation of John Wick. I present to you that we never got that with Elphaba. We never got that with Elphaba. As great as Cynthia Erivo played her, she was magnificent in the role, but we never got that with Elphaba. Yeah, I get it. She showed up, she always idolized the wizard, and she found out there and said, wait a minute, the wizard can't do real magic. But emotionally for me as an audience member, that never got me to the point that I'm like, yeah, now I totally get why Elphaba would totally leave everything she's known and make herself public enemy number one and have to live on the run. they never did a good job of making us feel it. They told it to us in an academic way. Oh, the animals. She felt lied to by the wizard. Okay, but again, Avengers Infinity War, life as we knew it was on the line. Half of existence was going to be snapped away, and we felt it. But as somebody watching Wizard of Oz, I'm like, everybody in Oz seems pretty happy, and the only times they don't seem happy are when Elphaba is around. So what's why is it so important? Again, academically they could tell us, but they never made me emotionally feel it. About why is Elphaba doing what she's doing? What's at stake? And I think if they were able to do that, had they been able to pull back that curtain, I think my appreciation of the Wicked films, and I do appreciate them, I think my appreciation of the Wicked films would go up many, many more times. Anyway, guys, that's just my one movie fan's subjective opinion about the real one thing that's kind of holding back an even greater enthusiasm from me for this Wicked series. Maybe you felt it too. Maybe you didn't. Maybe you think I'm totally wrong about all this. Whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.